You're now listening to 360 Real Talk Radio, your source for entertainment, entrepreneurship, and lifestyle locally and beyond, with your hosts 360, Yolanda and Alex. Monday nights 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. on FXBG Radio.
Snoop Dogg, but we all look like Elon.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, Snoop Dogg is the king of smoking weed on any platform.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, mine's not loading, but of course it's the Nike one. It's the one where it's pretty much like, who cares? Just do it.
Right.
Because that's how I feel about this stupid Nike controversy. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. It's actually in my topics.
So just do it. So you burnt your Nikes too?
Nah, I'm not burning my Nikes. Actually, I posted, and I'll tell everybody again, I wear size 13, XL, double XL sometimes. Anything you want to burn, just send it to me. I'll give you my address.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll touch on that in a minute. So I'm gonna start off talking about, of course, this week's hot topic in music is Eminem and Mgk Beef. We've all seen that.
These guys.
A lot of people don't even know who the hell MGK is.
Yeah, Yolanda, who is MGK?
I don't know.
Okay.
Exactly.
I can't even believe I'm here. I have no idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't know who MGK is. Of course, I'm a DJ, so I know, but I'm going to be real. I've got like 2 songs I played by him, and I haven't played one in 5-6 years.
But I'm a DJ too, and I had no idea.
Well, you're not really a hip-hop DJ.
I feel better now.
But I knew who that was, of course.
I mean, my favorite MGK song was Wild Boy. The Wild Boy song. Nobody remembers that?
I feel like that should
Can you
be a
sing
country
it?
song.
Sing it.
Sing it.
I don't know.
I'm a wild boy. Call me Steve-O. And it's like a really hype song. I mean, MGK, like, he signed to Diddy's label. He's pretty crazy. He's out there. He's got ADHD really bad. Like, I seen a video of him doing that MTV Hollywood Squares type edition of MTV. This kid is like jumping around, moving around. He couldn't sit still. It's just crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about it. I'm gonna pull up my notes real quick. So apparently, I don't even need my notes. So apparently, what started this? Eminem's been hating on MGK for a while. So he says that he got him banned from a couple different outlets. Blah blah blah. So he's been crying about MGK for a while for some reason. I don't know if it's the 2 white guy like syndrome type thing.
So MGK got Eminem banned?
No, Eminem got MGK banned from Shade 45, which is Eminem's channel.
Surprise.
Yeah, so it's not like he had to try really hard. Yeah, so they made their diss tracks. So I'm gonna run through it because I only got it. Yeah.
Have you heard the freestyle that he's talking about, where he said, I can't believe we aired that on Shade 45?
Right. So I'm gonna pull up the first one. I'm just gonna quote a couple from the Eminem Not Alike. Supposedly this is what got MGK in his feelings. So I'm just gonna find a couple in here, like a
I need a timeline, actually. Well, so you're about to give us which one?
Not Alike is Eminem's surprise
album.
On the new album. On the one he just dropped out of nowhere.
So Kamikaze wasn't about MGK?
Not Alike is the one they're saying.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if you look through the lyrics, I'm going to find one. I don't know. Truthfully, like, it's sad to say when I look through this, I don't really, like, Eminem is firing shots at so many people in this song.
Yes.
He's like, K-Fed, IHOP. He's making fun of mumble rap, first of all. This whole album, he's going in on mumble rap.
Yes.
He's mumbling, but he's like doing it in his style.
Right. Can somebody please explain to me mumble rap? Because I don't even get it. They just mumble and rap.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. It's that quick mumble like, Versace, 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 Versace.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang,
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
That sounds, okay.
Yeah, that's how stupid it is.
Okay.
But that's the new thing.
That's the thing.
That's the new thing.
Okay.
So, truthfully, I mean, the Eminem track was nice. It's Eminem, man. We know he kills lyrics. But I give credit to MGK because if you pull his lyrics off of this, he kind of just murders Eminem on the track.
Is this the one that's like, this is Rap
It's
Devil?
called Rap Devil.
I don't know, dude. I think Rap Devil is basic. I think that
it is basic.
he doesn't have any freestyle.
I don't know.
Like,
I just like how he picks at Eminem the whole time. Like, I'm just going to read a couple lyrics because I can't stick on it very long. But he goes, I think my dad's going crazy. Yeah, Haley, you're right. Your dad's going mad, cooped up in the studio yelling at the mic.
Okay.
He's like, you're sober and you're bored.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is I don't know about you guys, but since Eminem got sober, his music ain't been the same.
Maybe Stan just isn't your cup of tea.
I don't know. Since he got sober, he hasn't been the same. Yes, this most recent surprise album, it was great, but all he did was fire shots at the whole rap world. You know what I mean? It was him attacking the whole industry. which is cool.
So you want Eminem to get high?
Yeah, he needs to get high
Is that
again.
what you're
I'm
saying?
sorry. It's like Lil
He
Wayne.
said he might.
Yeah, he said
He
he
said
did
he
say he
might.
might. It's like Lil Wayne
What's
when
his
he got
definition
sober.
of sober?
He's sober.
Like
Clean,
completely
sober,
Clean.
sober.
Well, and when you
Yeah.
get to that point in your life,
It's like, look, I'm gonna give you another one. Look. He goes, he said, you mad about something I said in 2012, so it took you 6 years and a surprise album just to come at me with a diss? He's like, homie, we get it. We know that you're the greatest rapper alive.
He's so far away. He's not even on his radar.
He's not.
So, and let me throw this one at you. I know you may have heard me while I was talking about this earlier, but I kind of feel like these new rappers, this MGK specifically, is kind of a cry for someone else to come and help with the rap industry.
I mean, they need it. We need the beef. We do need the beef.
And
We need the beef. That's the biggest thing is like, Drake and Meek Mill. Drake and Meek Mill's beef.
Right.
By the way, they just hugged it out on stage.
Really? That's
I
adorable.
seen it pop up. They hugged it out on stage. Meek Mill and Drake are buddies again.
Oh,
It's so cute.
that's
But
great.
we need this beef. I think what happened is when the Pac and Biggie beef popped off in the 90s and people started dying,
Mhm.
rap got scared. They're like, I don't want to get shot, so I'm going to shut up.
Well,
And then
I
we
feel
had
like-
Triple X just got shot,
Yep.
just got killed.
Yep.
Then you had all these other mumble rappers that were like, excuse my language, but they bitched up. They were like, I'm going to shut up now. I don't want to die.
Backing up.
Because
Let's go.
rap
They're cleaning up
rap
their
is a dangerous game.
Right.
Like some people are actually thugs that are rapping,
Exactly.
and the rest of them are the studio gangsters.
Right.
So, but anyway, I'm not going to waste any more time on it. That's that. MGK, Eminem beef. We're waiting on Eminem's response. I
One
don't
quick
think
question: who's making the best beats?
the best beats is always going to be, you got
Who's
your.
getting the best beats?
Oh, who's getting the best beats?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Because the rap artists themselves aren't making their
Oh,
own beats.
right now the
They're-
current
yes.
in it, like this generation,
Yes.
probably the Mike Will I Made It or whatever guy that
Okay.
made Miley Cyrus like Ratchet. Yeah.
All
So
right.
moving on. So now we got what was next in my topic. So why are Americans burning Nike products?
Yeah, why?
Let's talk about it.
Oh god.
Let's talk about it.
So you don't want to
And
burn anything.
And I'm quoting out of MGK's diss track. The whole track, he's like, let's talk about it. So let's talk about this. Why are Americans so mad at Nike right now? I don't get it.
I don't get it. I actually haven't seen the ad that's in question.
Well,
You
I've
guys-
seen the 50 million.
I did. I watched it.
I've seen
What
the
do you
50
think?
million memes.
Does it offend
I mean,
you?
they just it
Does it
doesn't
make you
offend.
mad?
No, it doesn't
Are you mad
offend
about
Do
it?
you
me.
want
I
to
mean,
buy Nikes?
well,
Does it
here's
make
the
you
thing.
not
So
want to buy?
here's-
Oh, here we go.
So
This
here's
is
the
what we were
reverse.
touching on.
Here's the reverse psychology: is that I didn't realize until afterwards when I started looking at my favorite spandex, because some people cotton's the fabric of their life. Spandex is the fabric of my life. I've worn it ever since I was a kid. My mom used to make me put spandex under my clothes to get ready for dance in the evening. Like I've been wearing it since I was 2.
Wow.
So
in other words, if you had to burn all your Nike gear,
I
you'd be
couldn't.
done.
I didn't
You'd
even
be
know.
done.
She'd be Nike.
I would be naked, and I didn't even know what was Nike gear and what wasn't Nike gear. But it was interesting because I was like, "Oh my god, I'm wearing! Oh my god, I'm wearing
I've
Nike!
got all this Nike.
Oh my god, my favorite's
Stop,
Nike!
drop,
Like,
and roll.
yeah,
Right,
like
right.
I mean, it was
Just do it, bro.
yeah,
Just do it.
was just one of those things.
So, I mean, I really don't even watch football that much anyway, but when all that popped off, I'm not going to lie, I was a little mad that he was kneeling at first because I was like, are you protesting the flag? But here's my take on it. I think he's protesting Trump, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I don't know if he's protesting Trump.
Yeah, I
That-
feel
I
like
just
it's
think
deeper
he's
than that.
It probably is
protesting-
deeper than that. I'm
He's
sure it is.
protesting
Actually-
injustice.
Exactly.
And I think that some people have such a high respect for the flag that they get pissed
Well,
off.
yeah,
about
we got
that.
in our feelings
that's
for a minute, and
understandable.
it's cool.
It's
But
the
I feel
other
like
side.
people, we're so quick to not really dig into a situation to understand it enough
Oh,
to
yeah.
go,
It's
why is he
scary.
kneeling? Why is he not standing? And it's so mad. I do it too. I'll get caught up in the news that pops up, and then I'll form an opinion without even clicking on the link.
It's
To read it.
inherently terrifying to have to absorb someone else's point
It's
of
horrible.
view when it conflicts with yours.
Exactly. Nobody
Um,
wants to do that.
And so,
So, I
to
mean-
say that he's doing this because of the unfair treatment
Yeah.
of black people in police situations, that's hard to look at as someone who doesn't deal with that, and it's hard to understand it. It's hard to
Right.
absorb it and empathize.
Well, it's like
with
the
it.
next image over here. It's like, somebody put out this, instead of throwing away your Nike gear to millions of homeless veterans you pretend to care about. I get
I
that.
threaten my children.
I get
with
that.
Stuff like that.
You know what I mean? I get it. Why are we burning stuff that people on the streets would love to have?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why don't you go donate that to a church? Do something productive with it
Yeah.
instead of burning it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, come on, dude. So I'm not even really going to go into that too much. But I do love this last meme. Real life Al Bundy sucked at football. Now he sells shoes.
Is he bad at football?
I don't even know.
I don't even know. Is he?
I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know either.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm bad at pronouncing names anyway, and I don't even know if I can pronounce his name right.
Kaepernick.
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 Nice.
So moving on. You know, something else that's really been on my mind here lately is all the deaths we're having with celebrities here lately, dude. Like I pulled it up, and I was gonna touch on all of them, but apparently there's already been 80 celebrities die this year.
That's
Not 80.
Of
Yeah.
drug overdose?
Yeah, of different like crazy stuff. And then, you know, part of me is like I get called up. Sometimes I get mad because like people give so much. Oh my God, they died. It was my favorite. You know what I mean? But
Literally
then their cousin dies, and you don't see them posting about that.
Right.
So I'm torn. I'm torn about that.
Well, that's the whole thing.
I'm
That's
torn.
my issue is that people pay so much attention
You're not even paying
to what's
attention to your
going
kid.
on
You know what I mean, or
with,
whatever.
oh, let me
In
figure out what
celebrity life.
kind of underwear the celebrity was wearing
Right.
today.
What kind of
But I
underwear are
don't-
we protesting
But I
today?
don't care about the homeless person that's
Exactly.
around the corner in
No,
my
I get
neighborhood.
it.
I mean,
it bothers me. It bothers
it's a value issue. If you don't take care of how can we're always trying to outreach, but if you don't take care of what's around you, if everybody
Exactly.
were to take care of the people around them
me. Yeah, we'd
and
be a
vice
whole lot better.
versa, and that went out
Yeah,
outwards,
we wouldn't have time to
we
care
wouldn't
about.
have time
we
to
wouldn't
care
even have
about
time.
what somebody was
No,
doing.
I agree
like,
because for me it's like, you know, every single week there's something stupid that takes over the internet,
Yes.
and I'm like, okay, what's it going to be next week? Somebody picked their nose and got caught on camera doing it.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
it's
It's like
always
who
celebrities.
cares? And it is always celebrities. It's like why? You know what I mean? It's like I get it. It's sad, whatever. You know what I mean? But you know, the thing that I do want to talk about is like a lot of people think these celebrities got it made and all this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, please let me have 5 million. I won't be depressed about it. I'll tell you now. But at the same time,
yeah, but money doesn't buy you happiness.
it doesn't. And then these celebrities, they don't know how to deal with it, man. Mac Miller just died. You know, he's 26 years old. He just
Struggled with addiction.
struggle with addiction is he already put it out there, and then he had the horrible breakups, and now they're blaming it on Ariana Grande.
Sure.
She pushed him over the edge because she put him on blast. You know what I mean? So it's like the celebrities, I feel like, and I don't feel sorry for them, but at the same time I do because they got it
They're
even
regular
worse.
people too.
They're regular people
Well, they
trying
can't
to
be
do it.
regular people.
There is
So
They can't.
therefore, they don't trust anybody
Exactly.
because
Well, and
they
that's their
want to
own-
be with them because of X, Y, Z. So
Exactly.
if you sit around and already struggle with who your real friends are,
All right.
Yeah,
I'm,
now
not-
if you're a
I'm almost out of
celebrity,
time on my
you're
section,
like,
so I
yeah,
just want to run through it.
it's even worse.
Right, so I'm gonna run through it real quick. I pulled up this awesome article from Cosmopolitan. You know, I like early magazines.
Nice.
You know, and I'm just gonna run through the 12 celebrities who opened up about drug addiction that you might have not known about. Lady Gaga, Zac Efron. I would have never thought that he had a problem with addiction.
Wow.
I've never heard of that. Ed Sheeran. Who
What
would have
falls
thought?
into the addiction category?
I
Yeah, I was
mean,
gonna ask that.
You know, all right, well, let's see. He goes, I didn't really notice it was happening. Instead of his drug addiction, it just started gradually happening. Then some people took me to the side and were like, calm yourself down. He doesn't really go
They
into
don't
it.
specify,
Yeah,
like,
you know
so
what
there's
I
so
mean?
many things it could be.
Yeah, it could be anything. Brad Pitt, you got Fergie over here, Drew Barrymore.
Yep,
So I mean, people that you would never even think that have
Sure.
drug issues.
sure.
Especially, let's talk about it right here locally in the Fredericksburg,
Yep.
Stafford area. You brought up
Yep.
the other day.
The sign on
Supposedly,
Route
there's
3.
a sign down in a Route 3 that says heroin overdoses for the year, and it's going up 10, 20 numbers
Yeah,
every
it
day.
was 81
It's
one
sad.
day and
That's
105.
I mean, that's a whole nother topic that I want to talk about, like in a whole segment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, by the way, tomorrow's your birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god!
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
And so
It's
I
my
will
daughter's
be.
birthday too,
No, she's
Yeah.
no, I didn't know that on the same
Yeah.
day as you.
16?
and it's her
Sweet
16th.
She has the
birthday,
same
yeah.
birthday as you.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Great.
So
I didn't know that. So yeah, the whole you don't.
Well,
getting
here's the
people
thing,
to
I'm gonna tell
donate
you-
to that local.
yeah, to the local addiction and struggle and stuff. I did a little fundraiser because Facebook bugs you.
Right.
You should do
Right.
a fundraiser for your birthday. And I was really struggling. I was like, let me see if there's anything local in Fredericksburg to donate to. And I found the overcome addiction type thing. And I was like, this is awesome. And I
Yeah.
threw it out there. And I spent like 20 minutes and
We
invited
should
like
reshare that link
six.
because
Yeah,
I think
we
that's
will. We'll have to. I'll share it on the page later. But, you know, I had to I invited like 600 people and I raised $100 in like 10 minutes.
Wow,
So that was cool.
That's
Well,
great.
I got another 100 on it. Hey.
And then let me touch
Happy
base.
birthday.
It's crazy. I'm going to finish up on the whole 9/11 birthday thing. It's crazy. Everybody always said my birthday was going to be like a bad day one day. It was like 911, man. So here's something crazy. When I put in a GPS to get to the radio station tonight, guess what time it said I was going to arrive?
911.
And I stopped. I was like, I'm stopping at Wawa. Nope.
Wow.
Stop it.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me too.
You know, and the funny part is I had my daughter the year after 9/11. So that was like, I named her Victoria because that was my victory over 9/11. You know what I mean?
I did not know that her birthday was your birthday. That's
crazy.
amazing.
That's great.
So yeah, that's my segment on entertainment tonight. I made it just in time, like I planned.
Aren't you good?
So we're moving on to Yolanda with some local business news.
Some local business news. Well, excellent.
We got to call our guest.
We do need to call our guest. So I was a huge startup with Gold's Gym, worked there for several years.
Met you at.
Met me there. I mean, as people would say, it ran through my veins. It's something I love. Something I'm very passionate about. I do real estate full time, but I think that everybody needs to go back to their roots of their wellness and take time to be well. And it's just my favorite place in town to do that. So we are going to call in Alicia, who is the general manager of Gold's Gym. And that's what I'll be doing, is focusing on a spotlight for local businesses so that we can all get a good idea of what some people here are doing here locally. I think it's very important, the same kind of concept where I say, take care of the person around the street corner. If we build up our local businesses, we can move outward from that and create a better result. So
of course,
I'll try to get her on the phone here, I would think. Yes, I'm super excited about it.
We got that going over there.
So we're going to call her in, and she's going to tell us a little bit. We are also going to be featuring
giving away a prize.
Big prize. And for those of you, I guess maybe to me, just because I ran that circuit for so long, this prize doesn't happen. Meaning that you can go in the gym and you might get 2 or 3 days to figure out what's going on. But this is a solid 14 days. So 2 weeks
that's awesome.
free.
That's
I mean, that is
that enough to form a habit. That's enough to get the habit.
Well, and that's what we're going to talk about.
That's what you
is
need.
the habit.
You got to get that habit.
Because the habit is what's valuable. So to be able to get a little extra time, to get your foot in the door, really try some things, get into the habit. Experts say it takes about 21 days to make a habit. So if you get 14 days of that for free, I mean, it's just an amazing opportunity.
Are we getting a hold of her over there?
Your watchers aren't going to be able to hear that half of the conversation. Because the headphones. So the people viewing are going to need to switch over to the Mixler page to hear both sides of the audio conversation.
Oh, well, we'll figure that out.
So they're going to have to put this phone call together. Is what you're
or they could go to the fxbgpublicradio.com.
Well, we're going to cut it out
to the
anyway,
Mixler link.
We'll cut out that section. So, I mean, the most important thing is that anybody who's been thinking about, hey, I want a local place to be able to establish my wellness. I want to know what's going on. Again, if I hadn't worked there for 7+ years, you would not have this opportunity. I promise you that.
Nice. So let's just have them do this. Anybody that wants that 2-week vacation,
we'll do the promo. We'll get the promo code.
We'll get it
for
together.
them. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Is this Alicia? Hi. Hi. You are live on 360 Real Talk. Thank you so much. I know. We go back since like 1963.
Oh, wow.
You lie.
I knew you were old.
No, I know. Alicia and I were seriously 2 of the very first, I would say, in the mix of the original employees there. And so we sort of have been there as it's been, molded over time. And so I definitely wanted to get her on the phone because I know that she has the same passion for helping others and supporting people locally so that we could chit-chat a little bit. I wanted to start off with, and definitely be paying attention because we're going to be doing the promo code. I wanted to start off a little bit and let Alicia talk a little bit just so we get a basic, because I don't know, and this was something that I was always a huge proponent of, that people really understand everything that our Gold's Gym here has to offer. We are Over an acre? I mean, 60,000 square feet? Yeah. So tell us a little bit about all the different amenities that they have to offer.
Right. So obviously Gold's Gym is an icon. It's an icon of a brand. We're lucky enough to have it here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. As Yolanda said, we're over 60,000 square feet, which is amazing. We have all the things that people kind of know us for. We have an amazing free weight area. We have, a wonderful cardio deck. But then we have other things that a lot of people don't realize that we have, which is, a basketball court. We have a boxing area. We have things for women. We have dedicated women's only area. It's called
That's
Ladies
huge.
Gold. And
That's so huge,
I always
Alicia.
yes.
I
feel
don't-
like, when you first come to the gym, especially as a female, almost everyone starts out there and then they venture off into the rest of the gym.
I just think that's huge
we
because we
also
think
have-
Gold's Gym, like
Go ahead.
Muscle Beach, we think that whole concept and people don't understand, whereas there's really not an all ladies gym in Fredericksburg, so they don't understand that they can go into that separate area and get a complete workout, and it's very sectioned off well so that they can evolve as they grow. That's huge.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, the cool thing too is, though it is sectioned, I think the flow is great. So that you could easily move from one area to the next. We offer what's called a cardio cinema, so we literally have a 60-inch
That's awesome.
projection
Yeah.
screen TV inside of essentially a movie theater. And instead of being stagnant, we have cardio equipment so you can get your cardio done. We show all, the latest movies as well as, some great blockbuster movies. We take requests, especially for movies. We have a 25-meter lap pool. And then we have hundreds of classes literally available for you to take.
And that's like every
you know.
week, isn't it? Like there's a selection of isn't
Yeah.
it like close to 100 different I mean, just to think about that, like to think that you can go in, do yoga, do spinning, do all those things, and people always talk about cost. Like, what is the value of having someone, with you in a close-knit group of people, like training you specifically in a closed-off studio? I just think that's amazing.
It is amazing. And the other fun thing about that, too, is we have very dynamic instructors. They're always doing something fresh and new, which is exciting. And then we try to go above and beyond to know that we have a child care area wherein you can drop your child off and enjoy your workout, but then know that your children are
So
also
great.
going to be able to
It
work
is.
out. because
My
we have
child
kids
grew up in
classes for
there.
them.
I mean, I feel like we should have Nevaeh on the air and
Right.
talk about
Right.
I
the
don't
fact
think you
that
guys market that enough, to be
it-
honest.
yeah.
That's
And
huge.
so did you know
I
that
had
we
no
were the
idea.
only full service facility that had an all ladies gym?
Nope.
Nope.
I had
That's
no
crazy.
idea
Don't
those
That's
things.
crazy.
people, because they think Gold's Gym, they don't
I
understand
think like
that.
weight benches.
Yeah, you
Well,
think
look, it's like for me, like I'm gonna touch real quick.
Yeah.
Like I started out on the whole Planet Fitness because it's cheap.
And I ragged
You
you
know what I
about
mean? And you
it.
did.
I did.
But I
Hard.
quickly outgrew it because once
Like I said you
I
would.
lost my weight, I got down to where I was cool, and then I'm just like, this is boring. What am I doing?
Bored.
I
Yep.
mean, yeah, there's cute college girls in there, but I mean, it's like, what am I doing at Planet Fitness with my life?
Right.
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So-
You won't you
Next
won't.
time on dating.
Yeah, exactly. But you won't outgrow it. And I just don't think a lot of people really understand that. Whereas if you want to go back and you want to lift some hardcore weights, you have to walk all the way back
Yeah,
to
it's
the back
crazy.
of the gym.
It's great.
And that's great, but there's a large percentage of people who absolutely love that because it's cutting edge equipment and that's their thing. But
right.
there's also a large percentage of people who never go back there.
Exactly.
And that's okay too.
Well, it's intimidating.
You know what I mean?
sometimes
They
to
go
walk
to
through
yoga,
that, the
they
whole
drop
thing.
their kids off, they go to the ladies'
Me
gym.
personally, when I do my little 2-week, I'm just gonna be on the cardio watching movies because I already like sit and watch Netflix on my phone when I'm running.
You're like a
Nice.
cardio theater guy.
And I almost fell trying to like play with my phone. So now I'm like, cool, I won't kill myself
Do
doing
you think-
cardio.
Do you think you do better for yourself, physically, health wise, at the gym without having to do like a major change in diet or a fad diet? Do you think that the exercise is more important to your overall wellness and reaching your goals as
Well,
opposed to
there's
making
a
severe diet change.
there's a difference between your overall wellness and your weight loss, right? I mean, those are two separate categories, and of course they relate. So you can have somebody who's carrying around maybe an extra 20 to 30 pounds, but their cardiovascular health has dramatically increased. I was listening to Dr. Amin, and he was on Dr. Oz today, and he talks about how your brain only makes up maybe like 5% of your body weight, but that the blood flow that your brain requires to operate at capacity takes up 20 to 30%. So basically, if you don't have a healthy cardiovascular system, you're
starving your
you're
brain.
stupid. Yeah.
I feel stupid hearing this.
Yeah, I mean,
it sounds like Latin, like mixed with Spanish. What are you even talking about?
So yes, I mean, there's your nutrition, and Alicia, we know this. Your nutrition is key, right? Because I mean, that's the vitamins that you get into your body. That's what fuels all the cell rebuilding and all that. And that's the other thing. We have a lot more to offer. You know what I mean? There at Gold's Gym, because it touches on all those things. But yes, you could be carrying around 20 to extra 30 pounds of weight, but be much healthier.
So let me ask you this about Gold's Gym. So I mean, we got all this going on at Gold's Gym. So we got the trainers, we got all this. So, that's something good too, because I feel like fitness is like a fad right now, all this organic stuff. There's so much information floating around.
There's a lot of
You got the keto diet, you got this diet, you got that this, that, and the third. But we need people at the gyms. We need these people to educate people, because it's like we're out here feeding ourselves poison when really you could just eat. It's portion control. Just don't freaking eat too much.
Well, the portion control helps you in terms of a lot of what you're going to gain and lose, but the value of what you eat.
Well, what I'm getting at is
the
like we need
nutritional
the
value
education.
Is different than that, because you could cut down your calories and possibly have a weight loss, but you're feeding yourself processed junk. So what's that doing to your body to build yourself nutritionally and feed your brains completely different?
Right. Well, that's what I feel like. That's the most important thing, is like that's what everybody needs to know about these type of things. And you're not gonna get that at just a basic old gym. They're just gonna Planet Fitness. You walk in there like, hey, how you doing? You want to jump in?
Dude, they have pizza night.
I mean,
at the gym?
Me personally, I'm not gonna lie.
But you need carbs for your
brain. You do. Need
I'm
carbs.
not here to smack talk.
I'm not either. But listen,
weird and
listen, Linda.
Listen, messy Mark.
What about like?
I'm
do y'all
just
have
saying.
like wine yoga?
They have been doing that at these breweries and stuff.
But does Gold's Gym doesn't have
I mean, Lisa has what does wine have, like pycnogenol? Is that what it's called, Alicia? I mean, Lisa has. I mean, pizza doesn't have that.
I think that the most important thing too, and I heard you kind of touch on it. You're talking about the education factor that a well-seasoned gym would bring to you, like Gold's Gym, because a diet like Atkins or the keto diet.
Yeah, there's so much.
These are broad strokes. And people are different. And so what works for some group or even a large group of people
I agree completely. I agree.
That it would work for you. So we have educated professionals to come in.
And that's what people
talk
need.
To you, about your fitness.
That's the value.
About you.
Yes. Yeah, and you work with that, because what works for somebody might not work for somebody else.
Yeah, if I cut carbs out of my diet, I would probably just die.
Same,
you know what I mean? So
instantly.
Whereas other people, like I have a friend, he's on that kick, and he's like, I'm like, so what do you do? And he's like, I replace carbs with more meat. And I'm like, so now you're just the ultimate meat lover? Everything you eat is just meat now? Meat and cheese?
That's the default that people go to when it's really meant to be.
So I'm
gonna do keto is meant to be a plant-based
I'm gonna do so basically he's doing I'm gonna do steak, and then I'm gonna do a side of hot dogs and a side of hamburger.
Sounds delicious.
You know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing with it? What are you doing? I'm like, how does that even?
I think one of the other really important things to consider too, when you think about when you were growing up as a child in elementary school, one of the most favorite things, at least for me,
the pyramid,
was when we went to recess. Right, we got to play outside and kind of have fun. And so essentially, that's what the gym is. It's a place to release your stress, to have fun, to kind of reconnect, to reclaim your time, to reclaim that time, where you can kind of re-empower yourself to face the rest of your busy, hectic, scheduled day. And so the important part about the gym, whatever you choose to do, whatever your food regimen is, It's just to keep moving and to be active and to do it in a place where you have options, where you don't feel
where you won't get
restricted,
bored.
you know,
Just
in
like
one
you
place
get,
or
yeah, you
another.
get bored.
just like Mark talked about,
Yeah,
you know,
get
and I
bored.
told him that. I said, you're going to get bored with that place. Like,
Yeah, no,
eventually
definitely, I
the
agree.
value, short term, it's there, but long term, you know what I mean? Where are you going? And I think, Alicia, you and I have talked about this so much. It's the concept of, you know, I always say, and, you know, it's something that I'm still, as many years as I've spent in the industry, being a busy real estate agent, you know, I hear myself say these things in my head, which we all know is nonsense. I'm too busy.
Well, that's everybody's biggest excuse.
Yeah, I don't have time. And you know, my thing is always like, yeah, okay, so hold on, let me go back and I'll be like, oh, I have a present for you. Look, I just went back in the pantry and I found you an extra hour. Congratulations, you have 25 hours in your day tomorrow. Bullshit, right?
Right.
You know
exactly.
what I mean? It's an opportunity for us to all take that time and, you know, get in that headspace where we can prioritize ourselves, and the value on that. I mean, you can't even compound it. It's not in terms of weight loss or how much muscle gain you have. I mean, that's in terms of like mental sanity.
Yes.
I mean,
Right.
it just goes back to
I think
habit.
some of the most successful stories that we've heard, you know, and Yolanda and I over the years, I've probably heard so many stories. But my favorite stories are the ones where people who came to the door and say they were, you know, had like a lifestyle disease like diabetes or something like that. And as a result of their consistency of working out and managing their diet, you know, that type of disease has been minimized, and in some cases have gone away. So those are the places where, you know, we find the most inspiration, and finding out that people came in and they weren't as strong as when they first walked in the door, but now they're stronger.
No,
Or,
that's
you know, they
awesome.
couldn't do a certain yoga pose, but now they can do it.
Sure.
You know, so those are the things that motivate us in the fitness industry, just helping people reach their overall wellness goal, whatever that may be. And so that's the beauty of Gold's Gym, you know, that it's so diverse. It's diverse not only in what we have, but it's diverse in the people that belong there. You know, we are not restrictive. We encourage and invite everyone to be a part of our gym.
Yeah.
Well, that's important. Everybody's got to feel welcome. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's intimidating. Like, even when I was at Planet Fitness, when I first started going, and I had that, like, man, I'm fat, I need to get skinny. And then you walk in, and it's like,
All these skinny people.
Well, yeah, and
They're
so
so
think
good at
about how
this.
that's what I'm saying is that you felt somehow on your level that, you know what I mean, that was a slightly safer place for you.
well, yeah, because
Where
it
at
was
the
simple.
same time, you know what I
On
mean,
the flip side, I didn't.
in all reality, that's the whole point. When you have a place that you can grow into,
Right.
and you go into something like that and it's all wide open, you know, you don't have nooks and crannies
No,
that you
there's
can go
no,
into.
yeah,
You
there's
can't
nothing.
you can't like sneak off to the pool. You can't slide
Right.
into a class. You can't go into the movie
You're
theater. You
just
can't
stuck.
sneak into the ladies' gym. Like,
You're
you can't
stuck.
custom tailor
Right.
what you want to
You're stuck.
do. And I think that's something that I've always felt passionate about, that people, you know, again, it's creating the habit and getting over that first step and, you know, getting started, and it makes a huge difference.
Got to take action.
I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely. One of the last things I just do want to share, too, is, as I mentioned when we first started talking, Gold's Gym is an iconic brand. We've been around for a long time. And it was originally founded by Joe Gold, of course, in Venice Beach, California. But the funny thing was, I was reading and learning about Joe Gold and his passion for fitness and how he kind of just brought everything together. The interesting thing is his name actually was not Joe. His real name was Sydney.
Oh my God, Alicia,
Wow.
I didn't know
I found
that.
that to be interesting about him. He got the name Joe just because they basically were like, hey, Joe, you know, because they didn't really know his name.
Ha.
And so it turned into like Gold Gym, and Joe was just a guy that if somebody asked him for any type of equipment, he literally would go home and like make it, because he used to be like a welder.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's really
Wow.
just kind of cool, interesting facts, and you know how the gym came into being. But essentially, the heart of the matter is it came out of a sense of customer service, and so that's what we look to do, you know, on a daily basis, whatever your goal may be in fitness.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, that's super amazing. And so we are going to be working out our special
Yeah, we'll figure that out
promo
when we post it.
Yeah. So how do we want to make sure that people take advantage of this 14 days, Mark?
Well, I mean, I think when we repost it, we'll have some special instructions, and then we'll relay with her, so we can connect it all together.
So is it a giveaway of
Great.
one?
It's
or
14
is it-
days free.
14 days.
So we don't want
Free
to
trial.
we don't want to like release the code now.
No, I don't think so, because I think we need to like be able to capture their information and get it over to her.
And make sure that she can like
Yeah,
accommodate it well.
exactly.
Okay.
It's not just anyone who comes across the code.
Right. Well, I mean, it is, but when we repost it, so everybody listen, watch the page. When we repost it, we're gonna have the terms, because I mean, I'm gonna make you click subscribe or something. I'm not just gonna give it to you.
Well, because nobody just gets
Oh.
2 weeks
Right.
free at Cold Gym.
You gotta
period.
at least
Yeah.
at least give us your name and email. You know what I mean? We gotta
Give
get
me my
some
name
kind of
and email.
information.
I can have the code too.
I think
Okay.
we can all have it. We're all So what we're gonna do? We're all gonna
yeah,
come
at
in
the
there.
pool.
Let's all come in there together. Let's all go in there together.
Yeah.
So
That's a good idea.
that's awesome. Thank you so much for taking your time to talk to us.
Okay, so
And-
we'll make
Absolutely.
sure, Alicia, we'll make sure that we get that information over to you so that we have people who are serious and really interested in exploring everything the gym has to offer and take advantage of those 14 free days, because you and I both know how rare that is.
Right. And it's always a pleasure, Yolanda. Nice to meet all of you.
Nice to meet you too. Hey,
all
we'll be
right.
seeing you soon.
All right, thank
Yeah,
you, Alicia. Okay, all right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Well, that was really cool. I mean, you know what I mean? Like you said, like the 14 days, that's long enough to form a habit.
It
It
is.
is.
And that's important. You know what I mean? You go to that gym 14 days, even if you're just, running a little bit, it doesn't even matter. You're going to want to keep going because it's going to feel good. You know what I mean? It's going to start feeling good.
It
And I
does.
think that's key. So that was pretty awesome that we could get 14 days and not just, like you said, the little basic 2 days.
Well, it's, if you
You
have
know
a
what I mean?
3-day
Or 7
pass, you
days.
sort of got to go every
Right.
day. I mean, but when you have 14 days, that gives you an opportunity to
Right, to
really get
really
into a 2-week
explore.
habit.
To really
Yeah.
explore. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. So everybody listen, just watch the page. We'll release all of our requirements, make you stand on your head, touch your toes, and do some crazy stuff. Send us a picture of that. I don't know. We're going to
Before
come
and
up.
after transformation.
Right. We're going to come
Just
up with
kidding.
something
We would
good.
not do that because no
No.
one wants to
Yeah,
do
we
that.
don't see that. You do not
Not
want to see
until
my
you're to the
before and
after.
after. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've
So-
all been there.
That's awesome. So moving on to Alex.
Whoa.
With lifestyle news over here.
All right. Well, thank you guys.
We got some interesting stuff.
There
here.
is some
I like your
interesting-
stuff over
yeah?
here. You got some
I'm-
interesting stuff.
I'm glad to hear that. So I think hopefully Yolanda will like this also, and
I think
our
she will.
listeners and viewers as well. So you guys, women specifically, ladies, I want to know where all our stress is coming from. I'm going to tell you where all our stress is coming
It's
from.
not men.
No, why do you have to give it away, Mark?
not
It is men. It's the men. It's
Aw,
not your
come
kids.
on.
It's not your job.
Oh, wow.
It's the men.
I disagree,
okay?
but,
So we
So then I should be stress free?
no.
Right, I was going to
I'm
say we're all
not,
single.
because I don't even
We're
pay
all
any
single,
attention to that.
So
It
how
is-
does that work?
Your stress would be higher.
If you
Oh
had
yeah,
it.
I agree. I actually
Thank you.
eliminate
See,
them
and that
because it's
proves
much
the
more
point. I don't
peaceful.
even have to go
Right.
for
Yeah,
that.
no,
Well,
that,
I feel like dating. Let's don't make it a sexist thing.
It's not.
Let's just
It's
say
not, and we'll get to that.
stress from dating and relationships. Period is just ridiculous.
I think that's a different kind of stress, though, than kind of what we're going for here.
Okay, let's hear.
So this article that I found is talking about, kind of your standard parental unit, right? You have mom, dad, same house, kids.
Okay.
And these are the women who were surveyed for this
Oh.
specifically.
Now I get it.
And so what's happening here is that women are kind of being burdened, or maybe burdening themselves, we'll get to that in a little bit, with more stress, more responsibilities than what the men in the relationships have. So just a quick excerpt from this article. This woman says, "We both work full-time. We try to split childcare, but somehow I'm always freaking out more than he is. My husband, he worries about their future, but he doesn't worry the same way." So she's looking, 20 years ahead while he's not. So kind of that emotional stress, those things that are preemptive that we're worrying about. we have those worries, and then we have the stress of why are you not worrying? And I'm trying to worry, so why aren't you doing more
it's funny.
things?
So I'm going to touch again though between the male and female thing, because I should have been a female, because in my relationships I've always been the one that's worrying about the
You're
future.
an anomaly.
And the girl was like, "Who cares? Can we just go get something to eat?" And I'm like,
do you know what you want to eat?
Right, exactly.
Another argument.
Yeah, so I mean, you know.
So this survey, it was pretty impressive. I picked this one specifically because they actually chose 7,000 recipients, and the stress level that they said they were living at was about an 8.5 out of 10. And 46% of these people said that their spouse was a bigger source of stress than their kids. So I do think that a big part of that is that we stress ourselves, because kind of like Yolanda was saying, she should be stress-free, right? Because there's no
I mean, you're taking on anytime you enter something else into the factor or the equation, then you're thinking about that person's needs and goals
you're
and
taking away from yourself.
desires. So if they're not committed to that process, then you're taking on another stress factor, which is why I think that increasingly more people are willing to just say, you know what, this is my stress, this is my responsibility, and I don't want to. And do I think that falls a little more normally on the female? And sure, but I think that there are increasingly also males that are taking on that role where they just say, you know what, I don't want to worry about this other person's needs, wants, and goals. I know that I can structure a schedule around what I need to do professionally and personally to meet these needs of these kids, and not throw in the random let me throw in, whatever else this person needs,
Sure. So we got to be a little more broad than that. It's so much more than just the kids, I think, in most of these situations. And, it's finances in the future. Yeah. It's making sure the kids have everything that they need in the future. It's making sure that, any of those bumps in the road, emergencies, someone's going to be there as a plan of action if anything happens. And I feel like
that's huge.
We women have a knack for just being like, I have to think about these things right now because they could happen at any minute, constantly really just overstressing ourselves. Whereas the guy's like, this is what I'm doing right now in the majority of situations. But I'm actually, I want to take it a little bit to the side real quick, because what ends up happening for us is we can kind of have all of these things, right? We figure out where a problem is, we cut it off. If a guy continues to kind of not be involved in the stress, the decision making, and so then we become kind of the single parent and doing everything, and that one stress is gone, right? And it does apply to men too, because Mark, again, you're kind of the oddity where it's like,
I'm a single full-time dad.
Exactly.
So I'm just sitting here
you have the same experience,
right?
And I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna make you real sad. So sorry.
I'm really trying to figure out where you're going with this. I'm being patient here.
I'm getting there. Okay, so then what ends up happening is that we stress ourselves out so much. We have the one stress relieved, right? But then we continue to stress ourselves with the kids, the finances, the in and outs of every single day, getting everything taken care of, building our business. Right, exactly.
Jesus.
I'm going to teach you how to deal with this.
Oh, okay. So there's a lesson to be learned. Thank
right
God.
Meditate and go to Gold's Gym.
Because I thought you were just
eat some broccoli.
I thought we were just going to say have a stress party.
Snort some lavender oil. Something.
And I wanted to kind of bring this back to Yolanda and her guest today at Gold's Gym, because one of the very real factors of this level of stress is that women are more susceptible to heart disease because of these stressors. So yes, it is absolutely a physical attribute. You have to eat correct. You have to go to the gym or take care of yourself, do some kind of exercise, because just being female, we're genetically predisposed to having heart disease, but things like these intense stresses magnifies it. So just this article that I pulled up earlier today, every 80 seconds, one woman dies from cardiovascular disease. Goodness, if I could speak. So that's intense. And about 90% of the women have at least one risk factor for heart disease or stroke. These are related to mental health often. So that is definitely that high
it's huge.
stress level.
It's huge. And
Well,
Alex, I don't even know if you know enough about me at this point, which we'll get to know each other even better, but I have my master's in mental health counseling.
Right.
I mean, like it's huge when you think about how these factors impact us over time.
Mhm.
And I think the thing about females is that, when we play sort of, if you would, devil's advocate with Mark, is that I think inherently from the time that we pop this child out, we know that those are our responsibilities. Now, if that falls by the wayside, you know what I mean? Then I think other people start to jump up and take responsibility for that. And I think that at some point in time, like Mark realized, like, hey, that's my thing. Like, I need to take responsibility for that.
Exactly.
But we've had that stress since like before day one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether or not we follow through with that, but I
Right.
mean, it's always there.
Exactly.
All right, well, we
Always
can
there.
go on.
I kind of want to bring it over again to the guys, like I promised I would. So it does not go unspoken for, unclaimed in men's lives. So the difference is primarily that we have a more immediate stress factor, and it stays with us. And then what ends up happening for the men is it's not that it's not there. It is there.
No, we just suppress
it's
it.
festering.
We put it away.
It's
And then
festering
we-
I agree with
and
that.
it's compiling.
And then we snap.
Exactly. So
Or we go into
strangely
deep
enough,
depression.
I personally was very surprised to find this out. But because of the high stress levels that our everyday lives, our everyday responsibilities put on us, while women are more likely to suffer heart disease, carry most of the stress in the immediate, while it's compiling in the background for men, it's making them more susceptible to becoming depressed
Yeah.
later in life.
I
And we're
can
talking
agree.
severe
I can agree.
depression.
Sure.
I've been like, look, I'll touch on that real quick
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it happened to me. I'm just coming out of like a 2-year funk of like where I didn't even want to get up. Like I just slept my life away and I would just go through the motions. And it's depressing to think about it, but I overcame it. But you're right, because it was just we try to play that strong, like, oh, I'm not gonna let it get to me, I'm not gonna let it stress me out. And then finally when it all catches up, you're just like, oh my God, like I'm a mess.
Well, sure.
You know
And
what I
those
mean?
kids are developing. They're starting to flourish as a personality.
You're wondering how much time
And
you have left
you
to fix
start
it.
to like,
Right.
jump in and be like, hey, like,
Well, it's
what's
like
going
me,
on?
like early on, in my parent, like when me and my child's mother were together, like it wasn't like I wasn't happy in the relationship, so I just avoided everybody. I was like, I'm gonna work 2 jobs, I'm just gonna not be home. You know what I mean? So it's like men tend to do stuff like that more than women do. You know what I mean? We're just gonna avoid
it's
everybody.
a coping mechanism.
It is, because if I don't gotta see it, like if I don't see you, then I ain't gotta deal with you.
I think I can understand that, because I always say that, like, when I was conceived at the last moment, God was like, and you're female. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like a last minute like thing. Like, so I can like perceive how that would happen, and then you get stuck in that situation, and you just have to be like, yeah, no, I have to jump in.
So with these points made, okay, so
men let it build up.
right.
Women
Whereas
stress
women
more
are
immediately.
immediately. So
Okay.
we're equally kind of effed, if
Yeah.
you will. But I've been reading this book. I was excited to read this book. I will share it with you guys, maybe if you want to go pick it up.
You had said something
there is
about it. I
nothing-
just like the title.
Nothing wrong with self-help. And actually, when you see the title in the bookstore, it's going to be kind
Different.
of bleeped out. But I can say this word here today.
Of course,
Yes, the F
of
word.
course, of course.
Okay, so this book is by Mark Manson. It's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. So even on the side of the
great.
book, right. Okay, so when we say don't give a fuck, it is not just to be indifferent to everything. Okay, so I want to share with you guys some of my favorite excerpts from this book. We'll start at the beginning here. So one of the first things that he goes over is the fact that the desire for a more positive experience is itself a negative experience. And paradoxically, the acceptance of one's negative experience is itself a positive experience. So as with anything that you're doing that's self-help related, you have to keep these things in mind. Every time you go through something that's painful, stressful, terrifying even, it is building you up to become a stronger, better adapted person.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
have that stress immediately, no matter who you are. And then you kind of have to, instead of letting it overtake you.
It's funny you say that, not to interrupt you, but it's funny. I was just telling somebody that's going through some stuff, and they're one of those people that'll just sit around and harp on it. I'm
Yes.
like, dude, you got to be positive, and you got to, like, the things that you want to do, you have to talk them into existence.
Yes.
Like me with my whole business. I've been trying,
Manifesting.
2005, I've been talking about, man, I'm going to get an office. And everybody was like, why do you need an office for? Why do you need an office? And I'm like, because I want one. I need an office to grow.
Right.
And I just kept talking it. I kept talking it. And I
Right.
made it happen.
It was the right
Exactly.
move for you.
But if
Yeah.
you
By the
sit
way, props
around,
to you.
thanks. But if you sit around and just talk about negative things,
That's all it's going to be.
then you're just going to continue to have negative things.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
So, kind of
it's
another
probably
point.
her phone with the loud ring.
That
Every-
was probably mine. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was supposed to go
It's okay.
silent.
I didn't even hear
I
it.
had a
I
feeling
didn't
it was
even-
mine because the same thing happened over here at my
Yeah.
phone.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway,
Just blame it on Yolanda.
but yeah, you got to be
I'm
like,
sure
you
that's
know what I
what
mean?
it
To
is.
anybody out there struggling that's going through a hard time, just
It's
be
going to
positive.
build you.
It's going to build you. It's going to
Exactly.
make you stronger, but don't let it make you bitter, because I've kind of did that. You know what I mean? And I struggle with that to where now I've got like this huge wall up where I'm just like, I don't want to trust nobody. I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, I really got to
But the
get,
thing is that you're aware of it.
no, it
You've
makes you
seen-
aware,
You've seen how that experience
and you don't want to feel it
made you
again.
negative.
Right.
I think
And it's
being
gonna make
aware
you
of it is the
positive.
huge thing, because then you can disclose that and say, hey, that's where I'm at.
Right. No, I tell
And that's
people.
something
I do
that,
it.
you know, may be a boundary issue and I need to work on, but this
Absolutely.
is why it's
That's
there.
literally a chapter in this book.
Nice.
So I
to
have
read that.
2 left to read. I'm going
And
to
I
pass this
mentioned-
on to you
yeah.
guys. So just another talking point in here. So everything worthwhile in life is won through surmounting the associated negative experience. So it's still kind of the same thing. You don't appreciate the good things until you
Something
go
bad
through
happens.
the bad things. Exactly.
Well, it's like everybody's. It's like that saying where everybody's like, nobody notices the good you do; they just notice the bad.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's like we never really. It's like why? You know what I mean?
But, okay, so back kind of to the title of the book, right? So this is the subtle art of not giving an F. So what we really have to focus on, what this is kind of teaching us to do, is giving an F about the right things.
Yeah.
So
your focus.
you can't go throughout your life being a victim of what happened to you.
A victim
You have to make a
mentality.
decision.
Yeah. Because that becomes an
and-
excuse.
It does, it
Exactly.
does.
And it becomes your whole life. It consumes you.
Oh, it
So
will.
you have to be able to have a decision making and an action making process where you're saying, I'm not going to let this situation, I'm not going to let this event control me. I'm going to move forward. This is what I'm going to do. This is it's actionable. You can complete the actions, and then you can say that you lived through what you lived through.
Right.
You learned the lessons you learned, and therefore you're
Well,
becoming
it's
the
good.
person you
Yeah,
became.
it's cool to be able to say, "Hey, I went through this and overcome it."
Exactly.
But then there's those people that's like, "I can't do anything because of that."
So that's the
There's a
victim
name
mentality.
for that. Yeah, it's called the poor me mentality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so poor me,
And it's
poor
an
me.
old school, it comes from
Poor
even
me.
Celestine
Yeah.
prophecy, if you take
Yeah.
it back that far.
Nice.
It's a control mechanism.
People
So
deny
you
and blame
actually
others.
take that and you use it to control other people because you say, I want to get,
Because you
I
make
want to
them-
suck
they
in
make-
your energy.
They make you feel bad.
I
for
want
them
to
so
collect that
bad.
energy from
And by the
you
way-
so you feel bad for me.
Don't give an F about them either.
No.
Yeah, if someone's doing that to you, don't give an F about
It's the
them.
same thing.
It's about making sure that you can get to where you need to be in your life. And so many people, that ends up being a stress factor.
Right.
You know, I wanted to be such a good person and take care of everyone else, but then you're
Too many.
sad and you're depressed because you're not where you want to be because you're taking care of everyone else.
Right. No, I've
You
been
have
there,
to
done
have
that.
the
This is
right-
like, yeah,
Which
this
is also
a
another way of
whole
controlling
in-depth
people.
It
conversation.
really
It
is.
is,
It
yeah.
really is.
That's
You
good.
guys, this is,
So-
this
I really,
is
that's really good.
No, I want to
Mark
read that.
Manson, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. It will be bleeped out if you go to the store to get it. It's
Nice.
a really great book.
Nice.
That's
And
excellent.
I'm going to pass it to you guys as soon as I'm done, and we can go over it again later.
Well, look, I think we had a first great episode, guys. I'm really happy how this turned
We
out.
did.
You know, so once again, we'll be posting this, and we're going to get that promo code for the gym membership. We'll work out all the details, how we're going to do that. So stay tuned for that. And that's been episode 1. And everybody tune in next Monday from
Every
10 to
Monday.
11. We'll be here every Monday talking about, entertainment, lifestyle, and